It's going to be psygib, and it's going to be nosfa. This is week number 10 of the Quake Pro League Americas edition. My name is Ketchup, joined by 40 Lions on the desk. I think we can expect this one to be pretty interesting. It's going to be a run back from week number 1. nosfa was able to defeat psygib 3-0. It was the very first 3-0 that we actually had in QPL in week 1. And I think time has changed since then, it's safe to say. I think it will be a lot closer this time. However, do we think that nosfa still has the edge here?
I was just going to ask you, do you think times have changed? I think nosfa does have the edge. Nothing against psygib, the dude's a beast. But for some reason, I feel like nosfa has that extra something. Just that little bit to take him over the edge.
I'm always glad to see progress in a player's journey. And nosfa, you know, he was the beast from South America, you know, back during the DreamHack qualifiers for some tournaments where we had, you know, South America, he was like right up there. And I think that was kind of like his entry into Champions, I guess, in like a public light. And then we would kind of see him here and there, but nothing really significant. And then here comes QuakeCon, where he just absolutely has this beast of a performance in the group stages, takes out some real killer players, and then gives us one hell of a show versus Wenger, of which he's able to defeat him at QuakeCon as well. And here, I mean, his performance here in the America side of QPL, while he's been living in America with low ping, oh my goodness, he's just been a different beast entirely.
Completely different. And one thing about him is his play speaks for itself, but he's got that swag too.
Oh yeah.
Like when you see him on his camera, either streaming or in tournaments live, like he's got the swagger, man. I love it. I love to see it.
I just love seeing confidence in a player. Like, anyone that's got confidence, I'll always be like, yes, more of that, please.
Absolutely.
But another player that's got confidence is psygib. You know, psygib went into QPL with a lot of that. You know, he's very confident in his own abilities. He's been kind of inconsistent, really, in QPL. However, the thing about him is that, look, he's not near relegation. He's nowhere near relegation. And for him, it's all about, well, let's try and keep the grind going slowly but surely. Italy's going to be a wonderful experience, and he definitely has the possibilities to cause some upsets because he has done in the past. But him versus nosfa today, you know, we're talking about Italy in droves. There is still another set of matches that he has to get through, you know, versus nosfa. Taking out nosfa would be a great result for him because right now the top 3 pretty much seems to be very much proven to be nosfa, dahang, and then Rafa in that order. Whether psygib can actually take out nosfa, that would be good for him. Because he defeated dahang at QuakeCon, did psygib,
yep.
And he was very, very confident about that result. But taking out nosfa before Italy would just be another way to, I guess, build that morale going into an Italy land, which is, you know, potentially life-changing for some of these players. Just, you know, these real lifetime achievements they're looking to make, and maybe psygib can be one of those players.
One of the sets that I'll never forget was back in Sweden. It was psygib Tox. psygib took him the full 3 maps. Tox had this amazing adjustment on to Anarchy that psygib couldn't really adapt to, but it was so close, man. I was pacing backstage like his girlfriend. It was exciting. It was exciting to watch. He's a beast.
And that was just a tournament for Tox, wasn't it?
Oh,
that was that was a good tournament for so many players involved. We have the picks and bans ready to go, so we can find out what to expect. And champion-wise, it's pretty standard to me. It's going to be Awoken first, going in with Doomslayer and the Ranger, Corrupted Keep with Galena, BJ, and then Molten Fools finishing off with the Sorlag and the Strog pick coming out from psygib at the last possible second. So fundamentally, look, history proves that nosfa was able to defeat psygib 3-0. We've had over 2 months since then. I'll ask you, 40, do we think a 3-0 is likely again, or do we think a 2-1 is more than likely to occur?
I think it's going to be more likely that a 2-1. Again, nosfa's going to have that little something extra. I'm a little heartbroken we're not going to see Blood Run, especially if nosfa could have played Scale on it, because as we'll never forget that amazing set at QuakeCon where he just stole the game away from Wenger. And the memes that came out of it were the best part, but also just that performance was fantastic. So we're going to get an Awoken, Corrupted, Keep, Molten False that's just as good. I'm looking forward to it. I like the Sorlag pick on Molten. We'll see what he can do. I think it's going to be close regardless of the outcome, but I'm personally going to go 2-1 nosfa.
I'm more inclined to think nosfa too. I'm kind of just going by previous results more than anything. It's not a knock on psygib in any way, because, you know, I was always a believer in psygib's performance, especially with the recent lands that happened kind of last year during the age of 2v2. Psygib was kind of like a reoccurring name as like top performer of a team, getting so many frags, and a real sleeper hit, right? A real sleeper hit of the time.
The strong silent type.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean, his entire persona is in the game. Fight. You know, all gameplay speaks for itself. But we're loading into map number 1 now. psygib versus nosfa. We'll see if nosfa's going to be able to repeat history here, or whether psygib's going to be able to correct the wrong and have some damn good momentum as we go into the LAN next week.
That's a really good rail right off the bat. He's going to miss with a second rail. nosfa trying to pepper in some tri-bolt for some extra damage. Good rail angle from psygib there. Hitting him on the way out, keeping him low. The rocket jump will miss. And oh, another rail. I like the switch to machine gun. Never mind, he's like, I'm going to finish with the rail because I started with the rail. That's a quick frag for psygib there.
Doesn't quite get the spawn he was looking for there, but anything's better than nothing. nosfa going a little bit too fast to capitalize. Now the rail's going to land. Now straight through the teleporter. psygib looking to maintain that middle ground again. The tri-bolt. Signs of nosfa being a little bit uncomfortable, just trying to get some of that information through. psygib having some of these angles for the rails, but to be honest, he's missing those rails, but they're kind of tricky shots anyway. So it's, you know, no shame in that, but any damage is better than nothing if psygib has an early frag and he's looking to extend it. But now he's trying to sort of play the dance in between the rhythm of the tri-bolt. And it looks like right now he's been able to avoid damage quite nicely. But yeah, I'm really a bit concerned about these missed rails. I feel like it's giving us for a little bit more breathing space than he should have.
Yeah, definitely want to try and hit, especially the uncontested rails that you get the opportunity to get. But we'll see if psygib can keep the pressure on. No item up for another 12 seconds. Heavy's going to be first. psygib making his way over to the rail to re-up and get position. A little bit of rocket into a rail. nosfa hitting everything into the dire warp. The rockets come out and they will get a mutual frag. Both rockets right on point. But nosfa with the spawn, and that's going to be very fortunate. A lot of machine gun, but unfortunately for nosfa, he's going to miss out on the mega. And oh wow, that rocket jump a little bit too high towards the heavens there. He's getting a little crazy with the rocket jumps. There's a good defensive rocket. 29 HP, needs to be extremely careful here.
Thankfully near Banana, there's going to be plenty of these little pickups to take. And the health bubbles towards Banana if he needs to go there, but obviously going to choose not to. But some wonderful rockets from psygib just to steal that away, making this one a 3-1 so far. Heavy has been taken though, but it's given psygib positioning where he should be able to uncontestedly take mega. And now if he wants to dip back in and get another fight, he can. The rail's going to be the catalyst to it. nosfa looking to run away. But actually he's doubling back, calling the double bluff. psygib though, looking to chase. Double jump. You can really see just the mobility of Doom, allowing him to be wherever he wants to be, when he wants on a map like this. Is just crazy strong. Yeah, he sees him. Doesn't want to give his position away though. He's looking for another shot on the heavy, and he does manage, even with that rocket jump with nosfa. Actually, not necessarily a rocket jump, sorry, the orb.
That's great LG there. Good denial on that mega. psygib stuck now. Great defensive rocket, though nosfa wants more, but now he has to back out. And I really love that LG, keeping psygib away from the mega. It was a good play there. That's exactly what nosfa needed to try and get back into it, but now he's going to get caught off guard, and LG needs to be careful here. He does have a 50 shard, and psygib peppering it with tri-bolt, knowing that he was going to go for that.
I'm kind of liking this ranged aggression that we're starting to see from psygib. I feel like he's not necessarily hot on nosfa's tail all the time, but he's always kind of within range to make some kind of damage happen that makes nosfa scared to go in. And scared to really make anything. Like right there, he's just content to sit back, look for an angle, hit that angle, put nosfa behind, and then when a fight happens, it happens. But as long as nosfa is behind, he can't really take a fight. You know, and he can't make anything significant happen just yet. However, some wonderful tri-bolt. psygib has to definitely show it some respect. Can tank a couple of rails from this health, but again, trying to just re-establish. Ooh, misses the rocket. And nosfa gets a fantastic rail.
Great LG from down below there. Nowhere really for psygib to go. He's going to win out on the heavy and try and double back over towards the mega, getting full control of the map. This is going to be huge. A little bit of tri-bolt. Good dodge from psygib there. Tri-bolt of his own. He's trying to melt that stack. Taking a full-on LG fight. Full commitment here, and 4 HP for nosfa. psygib with that deadly shaft gets the last bit of tri-bolt that he needed. The rail will miss from nosfa, and that's a big frag.
How he can get back up on this, I wonder. Because now he's been able to re-establish a bit of threat. Get himself another frag, which is never going to say no to that. But yeah, with the stack he's currently looking at, he's got to be really careful. And nosfa's going full steam ahead. They're going to chase this one down, might be able to pick it back up, we'll see. Swaps the SSGs, keep forcing him to run away. And the mega going in his favor. nosfa putting too many of his eggs in one basket right there. I think that was very much a, I'm going to dedicate to this hard and fast, and if I win, so be it.
But doesn't pan out for him, unfortunately, here. psygib doing really well at controlling that T-con middle area of the map. 5-2, so we're getting closer to the midpoint of this duel. nosfa has to make some adjustments and try and stop the bleeding here. Good rail from down below. Can he find another one here? Looking for the angle at the mega. He's going to miss. psygib's going to hit his, and the mega's going to be up in 2. That's going to be huge for psygib.
Collecting the mega unchallenged as well. There's no rails to be had to undo that damage. And with a fresh stack, Fortunately for nosfa, able to get one of his rails. It's so important that you hit rails in that situation because it means that psygib now has to kind of think twice before going around certain corners, especially now nosfa is back up on a fresh stack. Make that even more so thanks to the heavy that he's just collected. But I just feel like psygib, his rails have been immaculate. They've been so important. He lands them, springs the trap, pops the berserk and really goes ham. Is that enough?
Wow, the dancing. That rail was right in between his toes, but he gets away alive for the time being. 5:40 on the clock. nosfa looking to try and close out this frag, but every second that he waits, he's letting psygib stack back up. That rail's going to be a good start to trying to end this here. 50 HP for psygib as he grabs 225s in the banana area. And nosfa trying to play outside that telly. Great rail from psygib. Just the constant damage output regardless of his own stack. There's the Dire Orb through the drive-through window. 30 HP, can't finish it. Both players extremely weak. nosfa will grab the Mega. He needs to try and close this out, and there it is with the shotgun. Finally gets it.
Well, the question's going to be how does he capitalize from this, right? So he's been able to get a bunch of armor. Didn't really cost him a lot of those small pickups, so he can kind of cycle around and collect them. Pick up some of that rail ammo too, which really helps. He's in a good position to try and sit and defend for this heavy, but fundamentally he's in that constant position right where psygib, he's the one that has the frag advantage. He can dictate the pace of this if he wants to. Thankfully the passive of Rager, less self-damage, allows him to navigate a little bit. Missing that rail. We're going to see if he gets punished heavily for it. The Mega. Oh no! He can't hit the shot! And that fight going skew whiff is such bad news for him. He just needed to get the Mega on the way down. Maybe he would have been alright. The problem is, he just kind of gave it to psygib, but not before the Dire Orb teleports in and steals another frag away. Here comes the heavy as well. Is nosfa going to be in position to take it? Is psygib going to even fight for it? No, not at all, is the answer to that question.
Uncontested, that's going to be huge for nosfa. There's a little bit of a rock to try and stop the momentum here. 3 seconds till the Mega. nosfa wants to get some damage in, but he needs to be careful not to take a lot of damage. There's a good rail, but a little bit useless as the Mega gets picked up afterwards. 6-4. So nosfa looking to add some pressure to try and get back in this game here. psygib completely content playing a little bit defensive if he needs to. Going up the jump pad, that's a free rail for nosfa. There's the rocket jump, and there's the defensive rocket, and psygib picks him out of the sky. The follow-up's fantastic, 26 HP, but he gets the frag, and that's big.
The fight's breaking out. nosfa going in with the Dire Orb, but there's not really much he can do. Not spawning near much weapons, and psygib fully locked and loaded with that Unholy Trinity is all he needs. And it's just starting to escape us for a little bit, actually. What a start this has been. Even there, self-damage on the rocket. Doesn't really matter because it's Ranger, but a little bit of fumbled execution. nosfa not really looking like himself, and psygib having one hell of a game.
psygib playing very well right now. 9-4, looking to make it even bigger, and with shots like that, I don't understand why he wouldn't. As he's going to grab this Mega, actually takes a peek over. Almost gets another rail opportunity here.
Wow. Looking for the money shot. Doesn't hit its mark, but my question is, does it matter? Man, sitting on a massive lead so far. Here comes some more of that rocket boost in. Try and get some of that speed on deck as we head off nosfa, who's very weak indeed. Wow. No Dire Orb for you, and the fact that he didn't even get the teleport to it means that he's spawning with nothing. This has been a disastrous map for nosfa so far, but what a map it's been for psygib. One hell of a way to start things off.
Fantastic start to the series for psygib. A little bit rough for nosfa, but a minute 10 left. Oh no, the putback with the LG. He's like, where are you going? Tries to jump off the ledge, nothing doing. psygib with another great frag looking for the spawn. 1 minute left, and this one looks to be done and dusted here.
Oh, I definitely think nosfa's reached that point where he can't make a comeback anymore. Because it's just, there's a lot of work. 50 seconds to get it done. psygib's in and out. nosfa fresh off the spawn doesn't have a lot of weapons to actually do it either. Yeah, right now psygib just needs to bide some time. Think about what he's going to do for map number 2 because we're going there soon, and he's going to be 1-0 up in the process.
Yeah, really well done from psygib. I feel like the opening frags were pretty rail heavy, and then from there it was just all about items and traps. Very well done from psygib.
Looking to try and get some bonus frags at this point. psygib on the verge of getting a few more. I think he's played around this so well. What a shot! I mean, I feel like the rails have been a huge factor for psygib in this map so far. It's just been the moment nosfa had even a sign of being able to come back, the rail angles and the shots he was constantly getting hit by to undo a lot of the stack. It just must have felt like, you know, if you're in nosfa's shoes, well, I was going to start a comeback and then you hit me with the rail. So
53% rail.
Yeah, and the amount of shots he fired too.
Brutal.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do when you're getting hit with all those rails, especially when you're trying to get your own uncontested angles, and then you just end up eating rails. You get into weird, strafe fights, and then your opponent's just hitting everything. 50% plus is a lot for a rail, and I feel like that did do the opening damage, and from there is kind of downhill from nosfa.
For sure. I mean, there's not even much else to go on about, because now we're going to go into Corrupted Keep. So, as a saving grace, look, the rail's not going to be a factor, so Corrupted Keep is something that I think there's going to be maybe some breathing space for nosfa. I kind of feel like he was just getting bullied from the start to finish. The moment psygib had even a sight of him, he wasn't being constantly aggressive and constantly, I guess, in a point-blank range, or there wasn't a constant fight. But I feel like psygib always had nosfa on the edge of a string. It was, oh, I know where you are, and when I have an angle, I'm going to hit you with this rail, because I don't want you to make a comeback on me at all. And then, even worse than that, not only was nosfa in a position where he wasn't really able to fight all that often, when he finally felt like he had to make something happen, he never really had the stack to compete with psygib either. I just think psygib's kind of like foresight at range was, the saving grace for that one. And Corrupted Keep, I don't think that's actually, by pure just map definition, I don't quite think that game plan's as effective or can exist at all.
Well, we will see shortly. Look at that air rocket, though. The putback, just perfect placement by psygib. nosfa getting caught out over in the T-Con, trying to use that Dire Orb and dying right before the Mega Pickup. Just heartbreaking stuff like that that kind of spiraled out of control. And then again, the rails from psygib hitting him when he needed to. Can't even teleport, man. And then the putback with the LG. That's always a great feeling when you're the one doing it. You're like, you're not going anywhere.
That's the equivalent of someone just sticking their arm out on someone's forehead.
Exactly.
As they're trying
That's
to,
the
like,
Quake version of that.
Yeah.
As they windmill their fists towards you, and
where
they don't
do you
get to
think
touch
you're
you at all.
going, little man? Just want to LG you, mate. But yeah, so Corrupted Keep. Fundamentally, I kind of just think psygib was just playing a little bit better in that map, right?
Yeah.
There's really not much else you can say outside of that. psygib just kind of just looked like the superior player. nosfa looked really uncomfortable in places. He was playing from behind for like 95% of that map, if not 100%, to be completely honest. But I guess then maybe the natural change of Corrupted Keep and how it is functionally just an entirely different map to everything else.
Yep.
Maybe that's what nosfa needs to reset things.
I mean, I think he just needs to brush that dirt off his shoulder a little bit, like we saw at QuakeCon. Just warm up a little bit. First map, no big deal. Let's get into the second one here. And as he said, Corrupted Keep. It's going to be a good one. Let's see if psygib can sweep 2-0, or nosfa can tie it up at 1.
I haven't even touched on the fact that psygib, he's going to be feeling really good about winning a map in that manner too. But the rockets, perfection. What a start for psygib. nosfa. Sorry, I read his name out.
Well, it's definitely a start for psygib, not the one he wanted, but...
I'm just, look, I've got a sentence in my head. I did that thing where you've got a sentence in your head which has someone's name in it, and that's the one that's on your brain, so it's the one that comes out of your mouth. What I was going to say before that start that nosfa had was that psygib losing a 3-0 kind of in the style that he did to nosfa, I think immediately when you play again, having a map win in retaliation like that is like the best case scenario for what you can have in that situation. Because that now allows psygib to kind of breathe a little bit. He can go, well, right, thankfully I still got it, and correcting some of those wrongs. On that note, psygib able to get a nice impressive stack and making it a 1-1. And things have been nice and even again.
Yeah, just not letting nosfa have any room to breathe at all. Just constant damage. There's the dual-wield rockets defensively. Fantastic from nosfa here. As psygib's going to drop down onto the Mega Rocket, jump straight back up immediately into more LG and grab this heavy. So perfect item denial from psygib there, leaving nosfa pretty weak. Stack's actually about even. psygib has a little bit more health and armor, but one good rocket could be the deciding factor in this fight.
Bit of opening damage with some impressive LG. And nosfa in a bit of a weird position now. Somewhat of a choke point it can be when you're near heavy, and there's only so many ways you can try and get around, but the range damage from nosfa actually hasn't been too bad either. That said, the collection of the Mega at the beginning of the end, and psygib being able to get that frag, being able to turn around and get the heavy. A pretty nice delay in between the two, so if psygib stays on top of things, maybe he can rotate this for a little bit longer.
Waiting patiently. He's like, I know you need rockets. It's just a matter of when. A bit of a spam rockets there. No information on that one. nosfa, good job being patient. Making sure it's 100% safe before he makes his move. Stopwatch. That's great damage with the heavy machine gun. There's a dual wheel pop. Defensive play coming out from nosfa. The rockets, are they going to be enough? Not. on his watch. 25 HP after the passive, and psygib gets the best of him. Very close fight there. nosfa just not able to close it out. Now he has to be terrified off the spawn. Swap to shotgun is going to be enough, and that's going to be 4-1.
This, to me, is looking a lot more like the psygib that we were familiar with seeing at QuakeCon and before that.
The psygib of old.
For sure, like there's just a way he's approaching mainly the combat. You know, his weapon choices are immaculate, but there's just this oozing of confidence coming from psygib's gameplay so far. I kind of think we've been waiting a while to see it in action, and it's nice that we're finally starting to see it, you know, reappear once more. This is a far cry from week number 1 when both these players collided earlier on.
Definitely not what I expected here, as nosfa reeling 5-1. Does have rockets, grabs a little bit of shards, but he eats a rocket. Totem goes down. Mega goes to psygib. He's just going to keep his stranglehold on these items here, as nosfa getting locked out of the map.
There's a huge level of control. psygib having perfect timing on both of them so far. Every time nosfa falls, it's a little bit harder to time here and there. You have no way of knowing if someone was able to delay it or something similar, especially if you can't hear it being picked up. But now with nosfa being this far back, and psygib having this level of control over Mega and Heavy, and the fact that he's got dual wield, it means he's got more stack and more sustainability. But the fact that he's got dual wield, I think, shuts down the sustainability of the totems. You know, because your damage output is so much faster. The totems will only heal you for so much in that kind of situation. Thankfully, though, was able to somewhat force the dual wield out. It did cost a lot of life for nosfa, though, so...
But he does get the heavy, so hard fought, but he gets it. Now the LG fight, and I don't think nosfa's going to win this one. He might. The swap to shotgun is enough again, as he has to swap to rockets. And psygib getting away with one. That's the second fight where he's had 20 to 25 HP after the fact. Here's the refrag opportunity from nosfa. Forces him through the telly. The jumping shotgun, not enough, and the machine gun will melt him, and that's the Mega. Also has overstack, and this could be the start of something beautiful. There's one totem down. psygib waiting on the heavy. And nosfa just wants to get in there and make sure he doesn't get it, and does a good job of doing that and gets the frag, and this is a good start to a comeback here.
I think the 2 frags ago was such an important frag to pick up. You know, psygib was going for the right weapons. You know, if he had better spread and better accuracy in the split second, perhaps things might be a little bit different. It's just the fact that he was able to pick things up and then capitalize on the totem, get some armor as well. It's kind of allowed these string of events to take place. It's crazy how one option can change the flow of so much in a short space of time. But we're not even halfway through this map. You know, we're just about to hit 5-minute warning. And now it looks like nosfa's the one that's in control. Hasn't got a lot of rockets though, 2. Oof. Yeah, has to double back and get some more of those.
That was a good play from psygib there, all things considered. That's a terrible spot to be in. A lot of LG damage coming out, but he gets out alive, and that's a big victory, as is the 3-frag lead here as we're halfway through this one. nosfa doing a great job of staying on top of the Mega. Does eat some rocket damage. Needs to be careful trying to escape from this area now as the dual wield comes out from psygib. He's just going to melt him from behind the statue, and that's going to be enough. And that positioning, that is so tough to escape from there behind that statue.
But here comes psygib again. Running the circuit and taking out the totems where necessary, denying that sustain there from Galena. As now the rockets are peppering through. psygib maintaining control of LG room. That's a pretty important rocket to hit though. The entry damage comes through. nosfa in and out. Doesn't take a huge amount of damage, but no armor may come back to bite him. Thanks to BJ though, has the ability, the passive, regenerate the next 25 stack. And now we only need one more bubble to become nice and healthy, back up to a neutral stack, 100%. BJ got to keep. There's so many bubbles around, it can be easier than most characters to become full health again. But here comes the heavy machine gun fight for another time. But again, once more, diving down towards those health bubbles. And before you could even dual wield, before you could even make a single thing happen from it.
That one hurts.
Oh, yes it does.
6:30 on the board here. 3 minutes, 30 seconds for nosfa to work with to get 3 frags. Very doable, especially if you catch a psygib out with that. There's a swap to rockets, but psygib makes it rain, and again, sub 20 HP, staying alive. nosfa has got to be so frustrated right now.
Fortunately, nosfa's definitely not a player that has been known to play tilted, so regardless of how this is going, definitely don't count him out, but I just feel like these fights have just been sublime from psygib so far. And not only that, but just when to disengage. Like even now, he's rarely overextending his welcome. But as we can now see, Mega's going to be the next thing to spawn. The dual wield forced him away. And now it's nosfa laying the pressure on. opting to double back and try and get some LG damage. It's now going to force psygib away. Might even allow nosfa to collect this Mega. We're going to see if psygib, yeah, he's definitely been forced away from it. But nosfa, he's got time to double around and actually stop him from getting heavy at the same time.
Really good rocket there, keeping him low. He's going to go through the telly and try and finish it. Very dangerous, 50 HP. Shotgun switch for psygib, 6 HP. The passive's going to heal him back up to 25. Shotgun from nosfa, not enough, but he's chasing. Good defensive rocket. Can he get this frag? He wants it so bad. There's the 50 shard. The rocket will bounce him into the boneyard. Dual wields back up at 50. Oh my god, that point-blank shotgun wasn't enough. Around the corner, nosfa finally gets the frag, but psygib wasted a lot of time and did a lot of damage on that.
I feel like we heard about minutes worth of constant BJ near-death damage sounds, and I don't think that's a problem. I think that's the opposite of a problem. But here comes the rocket. Oh, can't quite catch the rhythm. Tries to just take that dance in between the rocket shots, but it's not going to be it this time. And now psygib looking to maintain again. Watch out for the totems. Watch out! Ooh.
Wow, so much LG. That doorway is closer, no soliciting, 50 HP remaining, but nosfa's still down by 4, so psygib's okay with just healing back up off of whatever he can find and burning more clock. A minute 30 left. All the pressure on nosfa to try and find these frags, and he's got to start now.
This is going to be a great comfort zone for psygib if he can win this map, knowing that he got the 2-0, so at the very worst, it's going to be a 2-1 for him. After how the results went last time, you know he's feeling good. Yeah, the tactical rocket jump just to say, look, you got to chase it down if you want. Unfortunately, BJ, quite a loud man. I think his shout's telegraphing exactly where psygib's tried to run away to. Some excellent rockets in defense. Speaking of which, an even better one. Oh my word. These rockets are hitting their mark and then some. And again, we're talking about the subject of time. It's just wasting time. It's nosfa having to disengage to restack back up. He's having to try and get away. Almost a ring out. It's going to finally fall. Not impossible is this comeback, especially now the heavy armor's been taken, but nosfa needs to find him pretty much fresh off spawn every single time. That turret's going to definitely help. Oh, doesn't quite get the read on it. He doubles back. He's wasting time, and what a play that was. psygib being so annoying to pin down. This, by all means, should maybe be a frag for nosfa, but just getting caught by the tri-bolt. That's damage he doesn't want to take, because, again, he can't concede anything. He has to get frags, and then not give up anything himself. But he's getting trapped. The rockets hurt so much. Could actually be a frag against him, and that trade is a win for psygib for sure.
That is the nail in the coffin. Even past that, if he didn't get the mutual on that, it was just he burned so much time off the clock. By avoiding nosfa, doing a great job of running, using the tri-bolt just to slow him down. That was just really, really superbly played by psygib there. I didn't expect this. I didn't.
I mean, well done to psygib. Honestly, what a result for him. You know that he's a confident player, and I know he rates his own skills quite highly in the Americas division. And, you know, it was, I guess, quite upsetting to see him have an inconsistent journey, especially in the earlier stages of QPL in our first stage. And after getting a run back for someone like nosfa, being able to turn it around the way he has. Look, the series isn't over. There could still be a 2-1 here, but at least having the win locked in here, all that's going to do for psygib is say, right, I can correct the wrongs, I can play against players that have defeated me prior, and I can not only beat them, but I can beat them in pretty convincing fashion.
It definitely shows the evolution kind of throughout the weeks here, QPL. And the start for nosfa was fantastic. You feel like that rocket fight is like, wow, hit everything, in control, and then just like that, psygib's like, no, that's not going to happen. It just takes full control. Which is really well played there. Those rockets, so many fights that psygib took and won, 25 or less HP after the fact. It's got to be so frustrating because just a simple little bit of an adjustment on the rocket or anything like that could have gone nosfa's way, but unfortunately for him, psygib gets the best of him. Stuff like that, swaps to shotgun, rockets, just absolutely fantastic play from psygib.
Well, we're going into our third and final map now. It's going to be Molten Falls for another time. Sorlag, picked by nosfa, and then the Strog and Pika by psygib. We know psygib normally had a really good slash, so you would expect that maybe he's going to have a decent Strog as well, thanks to the crouch slide. Kind of, you know, the classic case that we've been talking about many, many times, and no doubt we'll continue to talk about. But fundamentally, yeah, what does this win mean for psygib? It means that he can go into Luca knowing that he's been able to rewrite history, as it were. He can face off against players that have not only defeated him in QPL, but actually kind of defeated him quite decisively. When the runback has its opportunity, results can be different. I think that speaks quite a lot of volumes for him, and he knows now that if he goes into Italy and plays like this, then, well, who knows what kind of players he's going to be able to defeat when he makes the trek out there.
Again, it's going to be a pretty big deal in terms of standings, not, but if you go into that LAN with the confidence of, my last game I did really well. I played my game, I kind of dominated, like that's going to help you in the first couple games of Luka, especially when it's so important to get off to a good start.
Oh, for sure. I don't even want to be in their position if they have a bad start and then you've got a lot of matches to get through. But that's for a week's time. We're going into the third and final map here, Molten Falls. nosfa, psygib. psygib already taking this 2-0. nosfa has an opportunity to try and at least get some points and make it a 2-1. So it's not going to be a 3-0. I mean, a reverse 3-0. I mean, that's quite an answer. Quite the retaliation from psygib it would be.
Good rail there from nosfa. Well within the realm of possibilities the way psygib is playing, but nosfa doing his best to ensure that doesn't happen and put some points on the board after this set. Catching him out at the Mega now. LG comes out. There's the spit. There's the rocket. And there is the frag. So much damage all at once, even after the Mega pickup. psygib didn't really stand a chance. Does steal away the heavy.
Yeah, he's trying to stay nice and safe with those rockets while at the same time giving up his little positioning. Oh. I feel like that was a perfect trap. I almost feel like psygib, he had the Pika waiting there because he knew it would make noise and he knew it would cause nosfa to chase it down. Hook, line, and sinker.
Absolutely fantastic play there, and I think that's exactly what happened. He's like, I'm going to pop this and you're going to come after me because you think my Piker's going to overextend. Not the case at all.
That's very much a, I'm going to make a lot of noise. Oh, I hope nobody is nearby. That would be so bad.
That would be terrible. Psygib play again here.
Oh my god. Oh, almost complete deletion from just Pika.
So
outrageous.
Much damage.
I love to see the use of Pika actually, but also at the same time, not quite sure what happened there with nosfa. I feel like it just took him way too long to get the frag.
But right there to delay or negate the spit completely, and psygib's looking so strong right now. And his little buddy Piker, actually, I feel like he was a dinosaur hunter in a different life.
Oh yeah, for sure. May as well call my man Torok at this point, but fundamentally, that second frag that nosfa conceded, I don't really understand what was happening when he kind of just sat around while it was just peppering damage down. I can only assume maybe he was missing shots on it or something, but either way, psygib's not going to be complaining. Getting some good use out of Pika so far.
Nice little jump. The jump pad straight to rockets. Good rail from nosfa. Directly during the rocket jump there. psygib maybe body block with some LG. There's the spit, there's the rocket, there comes out the Piker, but nosfa gets the best of him this time and says no, and psygib hits him with the oops, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to pull the Piker out in that moment in time. 2:30 in, 3-2 for psygib. nosfa getting one back. Looking for more here. Might be able to cut off at this armor shard. There's the LG on LG. Swap to rockets, and that almost took out nosfa, but the LG got the better of him, and luckily for him, the Mega's right underneath him.
Oh, and the stack difference really made a difference there too. Always the thing when you have a medium champion versus a heavy. There'll always be like that sort of like extra few little pieces of health that matter. Some wonderful rockets coming out. Really good rail to shut down that Pika and the rail to turn it around. So has to be careful. He's one direct away from death. Oh my word.
Wow. The nail's going to do it, and the Stroyant, saves his life a little bit. I think he would have survived regardless, and there's the LG battle. nosfa trying to pepper him with machine gun, taking this fight. There's the swap to nail again, and he gets the best of him, deleting that dinosaur. And maybe a little bit of frustration or miscalculation on the stack, but there's the rail, though. He's like, if I push you enough off of spawn, eventually I will kill you.
There is an element to this matchup that I will admit I hadn't really considered, which is that the chances of Strog dying after a fight to the looming... Oh, the combo, so beautiful. Tasty! Nice combination. But what I was going to say is actually the fact that the fluid is dropped the moment a frag happens means that, oh god, psygib going for Pika a little bit too many times now. A bit of a message to be sent. You got to watch out for that one. But the point I'm trying to make, which I will squeeze out eventually after this next fight happens, for God's sake, is that look, the liquid...
He can restack after fights. That's what you're saying.
No, he can stop. He can stop the bleeding of the acid.
Oh yeah, but restack as well because of the health.
Yeah, but stopping
it's the same.
Stopping the acid from taking is actually I can imagine that quite an important factor.
But only if he gets the frag, and that's the huge part here. Doing insane amounts of damage, but now he's down by one. So nosfa finally takes the lead. psygib waiting patiently around the corner, trying to catch him out. almost hit that rail after the rocket jump up to LG.
Stopwatch.
Heavy will go to psygib. It looks like Mega might go to nosfa, although he's a little bit early. Good defensive rail there. psygib drops down, but the return rocket's fantastic into the LG. The spit comes out, and nosfa taking that fight and the Mega. 24 HP, barely surviving. psygib almost forcing the issue and making it work.
Yeah, perfect timing on the Mega, though, to stick around knowing that, look, I can take this fight, and then when Mega appears, I'm even more so ready to take it against you. So, 5-minute warnings happen, nosfa. Kind of feels a bit strange how we're only 3 maps in and now we're finally saying nosfa in the lead. But better late than never. If he can make this a 2-1, it's going to be a better result than if it were to be a straight-up reverse 3-0, like we would have potentially seen. That point-blank rocket, but in return, psygib is going to turn around anyway. And now here comes the momentum. nosfa may be in the lead, but it might be on borrowed time as only 1 frag separates the 2 players right now. psygib trying to be nice and aggressive. I fear that his usage of the Pika right now, though, has given up some unnecessary frags. Almost seems to be a little bit almost like inexperienced, perhaps. I know not a lot of people have been super hard grinding strong. The crouch slide not coming out too long ago. And now, yeah, just like that, stopping the acid damage over time once more. I think that's an important factor of this matchup. Oh, nice rail, just to shut him down. Now he's looking to chase it once more. psygib just looking to stay nice and safe. Now it's 8-8, some good movement. nosfa getting a little bit taken by surprise at this movement from Strog so far. Perfect timing on the heavy. Here we go. And nosfa knows he's weak. He really can't challenge that at all.
Like, wait a minute. So he denies that. 8-8. Sliding around. psygib looking so strong here. Full advantages. nosfa doesn't really have anything. Needs to be careful as he flies through the rail room here. Almost getting that tail with a little bit of a rail, but instead it would be a fail as psygib looking for any kind of damage. Every second that goes by, nosfa is going to be able to grab at least a little something to stack back up. There's the spit from up top of the shotgun, and here's psygib with rockets, and nosfa blows himself up all over psygib's face. 225s to work with to negate the bleeding, and again, right off the spawn, nosfa relentless and gets that frag back.
Guess calculated aggression's going to be the key, understanding that, well, if he's going to be weak after that fight, at least if I spawn nearby I can pick up the re. But, now, that's not what you want to hear. Get out of there!
Oh no, that is, you don't want that, that's bad. That's real
the
bad.
moment we heard Strog talking all that smack, we all kind of knew what was going to happen. The missed rail, nosfa fresh off the spawn, and the rail's all he's got. It's kind of all he can use to survive, especially if he's hard dedicated towards heavy in that position. He's going to go for the peppering of the acid. psygib near some of these health pickups. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. nosfa gets the pickup, but again, very weak indeed. Has to make sure psygib's not too close, otherwise there might have been a re-pick up there. But psygib in the lead by only 1 frag so far. This has been very back and forth.
Dodging
by
can't
too
get the
fast.
rail. So close, almost looked on target, but just couldn't fire. We got rails, nails, and dinosaur tails here. psygib popping the peeker, and again he's going to make it rain on nosfa. nosfa trying to fight with LG rocket, anything to get rid of that thing. 11-9, 2 minutes left. psygib almost hits a fantastic rail on the way out.
It would have been, I think, just the icing on the cake after that Pika sequence. psygib's desperately trying to shut down this rail. He knows the moment the rail gets in his hands, it will change the way this fight approaches drastically. nosfa very weak, and the acid has... Wow, it's about to run away. psygib standing on it during its, as it's starting to fade out, I think. Not that it really matters, thanks to the health bubbles. But it did make nosfa too weak that it's kind of hard for him to fight for it. Catches it by surprise. Oh, return rail, though, looks so good. And now he's looking for the rocket. Some entry damage, and yeah, nosfa has to try and get out of there as fast as he can. He's very weak indeed.
psygib heard that at the last second, that health pickup. He's like, nope, I don't want to be there. He got a 2-frag lead. About 1:05 left. You can just hold the line. There's the peeker. nosfa does a good job of dealing with it this time. He's going to win himself the heavy, but he needs to win himself 2 more frags to send us into a sudden death.
psygib has the luxury of the play option. If he wants to play defensively, he can. That's a delicious rocket, doing 100 big ones. And now nosfa, a lot more work to do if he wants to win this fight. There is some small health bubbles to fall back to. Not that the psygib even needs them. There's going to be a light armor here as well. And I wonder if psygib's even going to stick around and try and hit there for the heavy, or whether he's just going to try and get out.
Oh, there's a great
Oh,
rail. 1
Die Hard.
HP. Bruce Willis out here, and psygib is 30 seconds away from the reverse sweep, but there's the rocket around the corner. Can nosfa find more? 20 seconds remaining. Needs 1 frag. Heavy's going to be up and taken. Mega's going to be up, but there's no time. nosfa needs to find the frags.
The turnaround rail. And now that has put nosfa in a terrible position, even with this health, he's railable. Even with it,
there it is.
psygib looked for it. What a result for psygib. After, I mean, that's a long time coming. We've come full circle at the end of this series. It was a 3-0 to nosfa in week number 1, and then 10 weeks later, just like that.
He's like, remember that one time? I'm going to end it reverse this time. And that's a fantastic display from psygib, and I can't help but feel like I cursed nosfa again, as I do with everybody, apparently. I'm just never going to predict anything ever again.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I feel like that's my bad.
But, I mean, I got to give all the props in the world to psygib for just
don't
how
take anything
well
away from his actual play, because that was
played
fantastic.
so well there.
So
but
strong.
I feel like we've kind of been waiting 10 weeks to see that degree of psygib come forward. Because that's the psygib we knew before QuakeCon, that's the psygib we knew at QuakeCon. But then during the QPL, he's been kind of lukewarm, really. And then going into this final week, psygib, if anything, reminding himself what he's capable of. And nosfa, I mean, I don't think he was prepared for an outcome like this. Not after how, when they last played, at the very least. And there were some mistakes. We can see in this replay that psygib was going in for Pika at some really odd times at the very early beginning and stopped making those mistakes later on. He gave up a couple pretty unnecessarily. But if anything, he's just feeling good now going into Italy. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, not sure if those Pika mistakes were mechanical or mental, but either way, he cleaned it up enough to win this 3-0. Well done to him. And again, this whole thing, confidence boost, right? You want to go in, fresh palette, clean and confident going into Italy. There's going to be a lot of intense games going on that entire weekend, and you need to be at your best to be able to compete and try and win the whole damn thing, because that's what it's all about.
Oh, for sure. As we go into the LAN, there can be only one. We're talking about players versus players all the time, but there's going to reach a point next weekend where there's only going to be 2 players left in this bracket. And there's going to be a new champion. Or maybe it's going to be a reigning champion. Kilson's shaping up to be pretty damn solid himself, but it's crazy to think that we're only 1 week away. It's been a long time coming already. We've had some killer weeks, and storylines are being set here, there, and everywhere. We only have 1 more series to get through, and then the stage of history is set, right? We're going into the next event, and we're going to find out who the next best player of Quake Champions on this planet is going to be. And I don't know about you, Foy, but that really excites me.
It's absolutely exciting. But again, as you mentioned, 1 last series, which could be the biggest. Again, what's on the line for Dahang is he needs to take a map off of Rafa. Otherwise, Rezu will move up in the rankings. And that could be the difference maker. We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
again,
well done to
psygib.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But our next matchup, it may be our final matchup, but it means a lot more to Dahang that meets the eye, thanks to Razy and his 3-0 result earlier versus Base. Rafa may be the number 1, but we're honestly eyeing up Dahang in this series. If Dahang gets 3-0'd by Rafa, he's going to gain no points, and because Razy was able to achieve a 3-0 versus Base, Razy, at the last second, on the last week, will overtake Dahang in the top 4.
If that happens.
Oh, for sure. Because Dahang's been putting in that work all the way through, and this would be a real killer for it, but at the same time, well earned by Razy, right? And it's a juicy storyline indeed. We're going to go for 1 final break and set that match up with the boys from Liquid. Don't go anywhere, because this is Quake Pro League, week number 10.